Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm trying to make sure that I sent the right workbook. Let's see.
I think so.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, I put the scan on here. So I'm going to exit out of everything else so I don't get it confused. This is our first webinar.
Yes, and I'm excited. I'm glad you're recording it too, because I did get some requests for that. There were some that were committed today and couldn't.
Okay. And then I just had some sign up, so I was emailing them. I hope it's the right one.
Okay. I need to turn this on vibrate because it's going to go off like crazy. And then
Share screen. Okay, do you see it up there?
let me pop back over real quick. I was responding to a instant message. Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so can you scan that and tell me if you're getting the right one?
Yeah.
If I sent the right one. I'm gonna go into my sent. Yeah, whoever I
Yep, that's the right one. It's correct.
Okay, well, I sent the wrong one to 3 people this morning.
Oops. Did we get the right one to him?
What?
Did we get the right one to him?
Not yet. It's
Okay.
Renee Reed, and I'm
Oh, I sent it to her last night because I knew she was
you
going to
did?
register, even though she hadn't registered yet.
Okay.
So she should have it in her email. And then I sent it to Joe too, because I know Joe was going to register. So he registered after you and I had talked. So Joe McGettigan, he should have it too.
Why don't I have presenter view here? Shoot. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so there's stop share. Okay.
Excuse me.
Get rid of my gum. I know. I'm like, okay, get ready.
I know. I've had this flu for like a week and I'm better now, but I'm still hacking. And so it's like, oh man, I'm glad this is online.
I know. Okay, I'm letting people in.
Yay.
Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Charmaine.
Good morning.
There's Jennifer. I'm so excited.
Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Good morning, Joe.
Awesome. Okay, more people are coming in so far. We have 7. Good morning, everybody. Where's everybody from? Put in your chat where you're from. Whoop, whoop.
St. Louis, love it.
A lot of us from St. Louis, I know.
Nice.
Louis.
Morning, Jake. I'm so glad you guys made it. I'm super excited for today.
Good.
Okay,
Did everybody get the workbook printed off? Get your copies? Beautiful. Because I know that's huge. Like we invest in ourselves, we invest in this time, and we put forth the effort, but then if we're not actually using the tools, we don't take it very far, do we? So
true. Okay, so a couple of people, I would say there's 3 people that I emailed this morning the workbook. And I believe I emailed you the wrong workbook. It was in my research folder and instead of the business plan folder. So make sure that you have the one that has the cover photo here. So the cover of this one is the correct one. So that's why we have that QR code right here on the front in case you didn't get it downloaded or I sent you one from my research pile.
and
There's
I know
no
I
tell.
emailed several out yesterday too. So if I sent it to you, you do have the correct one.
Oh, perfect. Awesome, Tiffany. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
my
was just the
pleasure.
one this morning. Whoop, whoop,
Just the
whoop.
one this morning. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Chris.
Sarah, would you mind putting that in the comments?
Sure.
And, oh, you know what? Let's see here.
And so we can just send it directly to the people that you sent to this morning. You know who that was.
And just for
Okay.
accountability's sake, guys, I still have mine. If you can see it, I got the virtual background, so it doesn't show off the best. But
Nope.
anyway, I still have mine because I actually had the pleasure of attending this in person at the event. So I still have mine and I'm going to be going through it again with you guys this morning. So I will be participating too.
All right, let's get started, right? It's 3 minutes after. What? I feel like I'm late already. Okay, so let's talk about housekeeping to get started so everybody knows the rules of the game, right? So if you have questions as we go through this, make sure and drop them in the chat box because we want to leave enough time at the very end that we can answer some questions for 15 to 30 minutes. And we have a hard stop at 12 noon. So business planning is not that much fun. How many people, raise your hand, will practice the little question thing? How many of you love doing business planning? You love looking at your numbers.
I
Yes,
love
I actually have
it.
people that do. Holy cow.
Love it.
Okay. And so also wait till the end because Sarah and I have a free gift for you. So once we finish with the slides, we'll pop up our free gift for you. And we really want to thank Tiffany for bringing this to you guys. What a cool thing that she sat in class. We had a lot of fun in class. I tend to throw candy around and make fun of people. And so you totally missed it. So maybe that's a good thing. So we have fun together, but we want you to have fun in this as well. And we want you to be able to ask your questions. So Sarah and I have both been in the industry for over 20 years. And we've sold over 2,000 homes. And we've managed really large offices. So we've coached a lot of agents. And so there's no silly question, okay? This is a tough business. Being an entrepreneur can be a lonely gig sometimes. So we want you to feel absolutely comfortable asking us any questions, okay? So thank you so much, Tiffany, for having us here. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off with, you know, what you have to start with every time is mindset, right? Mindset is everything. Does anybody here struggle with mindset just every once in a while? You know, you got to be a little vulnerable and be like, it's hard to make sure you're at the office at the same time every day, starting your day at the same time, or you get kicked in the gut by a seller or a buyer and you're like, this just isn't fun. I'd rather be a door greeter at Walmart than deal with this crap anymore, right? We totally get it. So in the workbook, I added this really cool tool, okay? This is something that I've used a lot. I especially used it, I did it every morning when I was going through my divorce. Nobody likes divorce, and it really caught me off guard. So every morning I pulled out this sheet of paper, I put it on a Word doc. Now, this is processing through a problem, okay? So very first line here on unintentional thought, there's a circumstance. A circumstance is the letter C. Circumstance is something, is a fact. It's proven in a court of law, right? I had papers to sign, right? So my circumstance was, okay, this is going through. That's the fact, right? My thought about it was, I do not want this, right? I don't want to not see my kids every day. I don't want to deal with everything that's going on. I don't want it, but I did. Why? It's like, ooh. And then the feeling I have to write it out. Again, anchor it with your pen, right? Write it out. How do I feel about it? I felt like I had no control, right? Like life was out of control. I had no control with it. And the action I was taking was actually inaction. So I wrote my inaction on that line, shutting down. I was just shutting down. I'd rather watch Netflix than deal with it, right? And what was the result? It drug out. So I wrote my result down there. It drug out, right? So on the intentional side, the circumstance is always the same. The circumstance is always the same. I'm going through a divorce, right? So down on the bottom was the result. What result do I want? Okay. If I'm going to have an intentional thought and I want my result to be, I am going to be stronger after this, right? Like I'm going to be strong. I'm going to face the situation and I'm going to move forward. That was my result. The action I had to take to do that, going backwards again, up the other side, the action I had to take was complete the paper. I know I need to go to counseling to be able to focus on this and to be able to put it behind me, to learn, to move forward, to accept. How do I have to feel? I have to feel confident moving forward, right? So what thought do I have to feel confident? I can do hard things. I can do hard things. That was the thought I put in there. So I circle the thought I have to have, because what was the only line on here that I had control of? You guys can speak up, talk to me. What is the one line on here I have control of that affects all the other lines? I'm going to sit here until somebody answers me, damn it. What do I have control of? There's no wrong answer. Well, there's a wrong answer, but I'll tell you the right one if you tell me.
They
Who's
put it
gonna
in
tell
the
me?
chat. They put thought and action.
Thought, right? Yes.
Yes.
Thought
Thank you,
triggers
Jen.
my action. Thought has influence over my feelings, my action, and result. But the thing is, it's hard to say, I can do hard things straight out of the gate, right? I know I should be doing it. I know I should be focusing on it. all of that kind of good stuff, right? But it's hard to do it unless I process it. So this worksheet helps you process through the thought. Because how many times do you hear people say, just go to your affirmations, just focus on your affirmations? Well, what if you don't freaking believe your affirmation, right? So you have to process it through. This is my favorite tool. So I highly recommend, give it a try. You'll see little scratch paper around my house that has CTFAR all over it. Now, sometimes there's more scratch paper around the house than usual, but it helps you process through it instead of just flipping over to an affirmation, that sticky note on your mirror. Come on, sometimes you just can't get there. So you have to stair step your feelings up through the ladder. Your thoughts have to go through a process. So there you go, my favorite tool. Okay, keep going. Now, we're getting ready to head into the business plan, right? So without a plan, even the most brilliant business can get lost. You need to have goals, create the milestones, and have a strategy in place to set yourself up for success. So that's what we are going after today. So the plans we're going to create, talk to us about this, Sarah.
So when you're looking at your business, you really need to look at it from 3 different angles. You need to look at it from your actual business. That's like the numbers. How many units do you need to do? What volume? What calls do you need to make? Then you need to look at your business from a marketing standpoint. You really need to put that in place ahead of time, because what happens? Otherwise, you're like the 1st of March, oh, hey, I think I need to send something out. And then you get busy, and then next thing you know, it's the last day of March and you didn't do anything. So by having a plan set in place already for all 12 months, what social media are you doing? What print marketing? What videos are you going to create? That really makes your job easier, because then you just turn your calendar over and it's already there. And then the last plan that you need to look at is your personal, because unless your personal is where you need it to be, it is really hard to run your business. You will notice if you have had any friends in the business that have gone through personal stuff, it will usually affect their business. So we really like to look at the personal side so that you can put down your faith, your exercise, your eating, your time with your family, scheduling time off. Because as real estate agents, we have a really bad habit of giving all of our time to our clients. And then when it comes time to have time for our family, it falls short. And if you have little kids at home, the last thing you want to do is have them grow up and when they're 20 or 30 say, yeah, mom, life was great, except that you were always on the phone, or you always left an event to go to work instead. So if we plan it out, it makes it easier. All right, so let's think about our vision. Not just 2023, but where do you want to be 10 years from now? We really want to think long-term so that we know what we're working towards. If you don't have that vision of what you're working towards, it's really hard to stay in the day-to-day grind if all you're doing is trying to get through the next 12 months. So we're going to take about 2 or 3 minutes, and I just want you to kind of write down, what's your vision for 2023, and what do you really want 10 years from now?
I feel like I should have music going do
I know,
do 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 do. And this takes a little bit more than a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But what first pops into your mind? What first pops in there? Because we're going to get you ready to write. We want you to fill out this booklet and revisit it throughout the year. Do you revisit it once a month? That's what I do with my clients. We revisit this every month. We look at our numbers every month.
Because the majority of agents, Dawn, would you agree, they do a business plan? If they do a business plan, and then where does it go? Goes on a shelf,
In the drawer.
goes in a drawer, goes in the trash, right? And then we don't revisit it. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about lead sources. These are some of the lead sources that we know are the most common. So your SOI, the people that know you, love you, trust you already, open house, referrals from those SOI, vendor referrals. You might get sign calls, internet, social media, networking groups, neighborhood farms. You might even purchase leads, and then others. Are there other lead sources that you guys have that we don't have on here? I'd love to hear what they are, because it might give somebody else an idea of what they could add into their business for next year.
And you need to know where your business is coming from, because where are you going to spend your investing dollars into your business? Are you going to spend thousands of dollars a month on leads you purchased? Or are you going to spend more money on events for your SOI? Are you going to spend more money on pop buy gifts for your SOI? Because if 95% or even 75% of your business comes from SOI, and that was much easier to do business with them, you want to increase that. So don't you want to invest your money there? So make sure you are actually looking at your numbers. We're not going off feelings here. We're going off numbers.
And track it during the year. You should absolutely have a spreadsheet or some sort of inputs where you can say, I got this transaction and it was from this lead source, because then you can categorize it and look at it, and then you'll know your percentages. All right, so when we review our business for this year, here are some basics that we really need to know. How many total sales did you have? How many of those were listings? And what percentage of your business is listings? Buyers? Did you double side anything? And then referrals. This really helps, especially if you do this. You might discover that 60% of your business are buyers, and you wonder why you're so tired. Well, how can we shift that to have a higher percentage towards listings if that's your goal? But you have to know them before you can do that.
For example, I have a coaching client where she had more buyers than she had listings the past year, 2 years before, and she wanted to increase her listing side, right? So she spent more time spending time with her database and spending time and money on more marketing towards listings. She made more listing books, more listing presentations, focused 3 days out of the week doing calls for listings and spending time on bringing about more listings, and spent 2 days on buyers, where the year before she was spending 3 days on buyers, 2 on listings. Well, then we looked at the results the following year. She doubled her listings, and she ended up having more listings than buyers. She made more money and had less transactions. So she did better on her time as well. But we wouldn't have been able to create a new strategy had we not seen her numbers, spent a year working on those numbers, and we were able to turn it around, made more money, saved more time.
And it also probably helped her figure out what skills she needed to up, right? If she's going to have more listings, then she needs to up her game on her listing skills, her presentations, and all of that. And this is part of that. So anytime you guys are going in to talk to a seller, you absolutely should know your information, especially if you're meeting with that high C, the engineer, the accountant. They want to know numbers. So you need to get in your MLS and check this out. How do you compare on your days on market compared to your whole MLS? Difference of days, list versus sales price. What's your percentage there? Are you 99%? Maybe you're 101%. But the difference is important. Now, if you have a competitor that you always seem to be going up against, right? Because we all have those where there's an area where every time you're competing against the same agent for a listing, make sure you know their stats too. Because then you can say, you're not going to talk bad about them, but you're going to say, my stats compared to are this. It just shows that you're a strong agent. You know your numbers. That's what clients want, people that know their numbers.
Right. How many of you have that question on your pre-listing questionnaire form when you're taking that call? Are you interviewing any other realtors? Right. And yeah, you want to get their name and you want to compare your numbers. Sometimes you're like, why am I doing all these numbers? Once you find your numbers, they'll tell you, right? Like you'll start seeing, oh, I see what this number is telling me now. So sometimes it's just the act of doing your numbers that you see the data coming through that makes sense to you and you find your competitive edge.
And once you learn how to do your numbers, you can knock them out pretty quick. You'll know exactly where to go to find that information and make it happen. All right, so do you know how many conversations you have to have every single day to hit your goal? Who knows that number? Anybody?
Put your number in the comments. I want to know how many people know exactly what is your conversion number, right? Because if we know how many, if you have kept track, how many calls do you make on average per day, right? So if you know this, then you know how many appointments, and then you know how many contracts. How many appointments do you have to get a contract, right? So you, on average, newer agents, you take your transaction goal, you multiply by 50, because it takes 50 conversations to get one contract. I have a coaching client that takes 17 conversations to get to one contract, and she does circle prospecting around her listings, right? So it's not even people she knows, but that is her strategy that she's really good at, circle prospecting around listings and solds. 17. She knows she's got to have 17 calls to get a contract. Well, how do you get to that number? You want to be able to be empowered when you sit down for your day by knowing exactly how many people I got to talk to, right? I know what I got to do today. So then you do the 50, right? Total conversations. And then total conversations by how many days are in the month, right? Well, we work about 22 days in a month. So then you divide it by that. Then you divide it by the month, right? Well, I guess you should start with the month first. We really work 10 months out of the year. Then you divide it by 22 days. That's how many numbers, that is your magic number, okay? Divide it by 10. So your transaction goal, okay, I want to hear somebody's doing this, right? Tell me who has done it and who knows their daily magic number. So if my transaction goal, somebody type in a transaction goal in the comments. Woo, Susan knows it's 6. All right. It's not the generic 5, right? Okay. So here she goes. 24 times 50 equals 1,200. Divide that by 10 equals 120. Divide that by 22 equals 5.45. And I love that she rounded it up to 6. Yay, Susan.
What do we mean by
Really?
conversations? What can that be? Does that mean we have to call everybody?
No, it can be a text message. It can be a Facebook message. As long as they respond back, you know they got it. That's a touch point. One of my favorite ways to do it is I have a generic happy birthday video. If you're one of my Facebook friends, yeah, I made that personally for you. But other than that, I have one video I make a year. And I'm like, happy birthday, friend. I hope you have a fabulous day. And when I open up my email in the morning, it tells me who all's having a birthday. Then I take that one video I made months ago and I Facebook message everybody that has a birthday that day. Those that respond back to me, and I'm like, they say thank you. I'm like, I hope you have a great day, man. What are you going to do special, right? And that's something I say in my video. What are you going to do special? So that it prompts them to message me back. When they message me back, I count that as a touch point. I put it in my CRM that it was their birthday and I got a message. So guess what? I don't have to reach out to them again for another 3 months just from a touch point. So make sure that you're tracking those, okay? Know your daily number. This is one of the most empowering things you can do. Okay, Sarah, lead sources.
All right,
Did I just
so
go backwards?
We already talked about those. So make sure you go back and check your business from this past year to know where all your business came from. All right, so this is in your book. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but I just want to explain how this works. Once you know how many transactions you need in the year, think about how are you going to target those per quarter. Now, think about your business. Maybe your heaviest time of the business is the first quarter. Maybe yours is the third quarter. So look at your total. So like Susan said, her total units are 24. How is she going to try to target? Now, do we have total control over that? We don't. But what it can do is it puts an awareness behind it that I'm trying to get 3 transactions closed in April. So what am I going to do January, February, March to make that happen?
All right, here we talk about money. This is the reason we're in this business, but we don't treat it like a business. Too many of us agents get our commission checks, drops it into the checking account, and we're like, woo! Nope, we gotta treat it like revenue, okay, not income. So make sure you set up your accounts, okay? So your commission check should go into a business account. And out of that, your business expenses are then sent over to your personal account or other vendors. And then your business profit, right? Make sure that your business profit is paying into your business tax account. You want to be able to pay your taxes at the end of the year, right? If you're not paying them quarterly, but you should be. So make sure that you have someone doing the bookkeeping for you if you're not doing this yourself. So there's a great book called Profit First, Mike Michalowicz. He talks about the different business accounts. I'm a big fan. That's when I learned to have a Profit First account where every check I got, 5% went into this one account. I called it, as a business owner, I should be getting profit from my business. So it went into this business account. Every year, I send out my profit, right? I take my family on vacation. That is our vacation account. It's the Profit First. I should have a benefit from owning a business. I put it first. And it's funny, you make do with what's left. 5% is not a lot. So then we come into our minimum annual required income. Do you know how much you need to be spending, how much you need to be making, right? Your monthly living expenses. We're going to talk about how many people and how many closings you need to have, and talk about, I'm a big fan of referral-based business. How many people do you need to have in your database to take care of all the touch points and to make sure that you have that referral-based business? The numbers start here. What is your monthly living expenses? Then what are you spending a month in play? Your annual expenses then multiply by 12. You put your taxes in there, gross up for retirement. Don't forget, you don't want to be selling for the rest of your life. Everybody says, I'll never retire. But at some point, you'll want to move to Florida because it's cold, right?
When you're 90 and still walking buyers around, you're going to wish you'd have done this.
Yes. So please, please add this in from the very beginning. What is your retirement? You'll make do with what's left, okay? So what is your total minimum required income? So many times we say, how many transactions do you want? How much volume do you want to sell this year? And then you're done. I want to know, what is your total minimum required income? We got to know where to start, right? Because then we're going to talk about statistics, the math, right? Out of 100 people, 6.5 people will sell. Yeah, half people sell their homes too. 13 transactions a year is what that makes, right? Because they're going to sell and they're going to buy. So then we have 136 million households in America. 64% are single family. And so what we do is we take that 136 million, we multiply it by 64%, We have 87 million households. I tell you, we like our numbers because they empower us. So then in 2020, according to the US Census, 5.6 million sold. We divide that by 87 million equals 6.4%. That's how we know 6.5 out of 100 people will sell. So one buyer and one seller equals 12.8 transactions out of 100 households. Did you know that? How many people are you taking care of in your database? So we come to this right here. I know we're getting deep, we're getting heavy with the numbers. Did you know that in the St. Louis area, the average time a seller stays in their home is now 10 years? What? It used to be 6, then it went to 9. Now it's 10. We have to know the empirical data so that we're empowered every day. So the listings per 100 people in your market is 10. Transactions per 100 contacts in your database annually in your market, assuming 50% also buy, is 15. So 15 out of 100 people. Percent chance that someone in your database will call you after 2 years and you're doing good marketing, 80%, right? You're staying in front of them every 4 to 10 days with a touch point. How do you do that? How do you do that? Transactions 1 per 100 people, assuming 80% of them close, 10. Number of people in your database to close the deal, one deal is 10. So founder believes an initial SOI database can be built to start with what number of contacts? How many contacts do you need in your database that you know well to get to the number of transactions you need a year? Maybe you need to get out there and start networking or going deeper with your relationships. I know this is a lot. You will want to come back to this page in your workbook, okay? The next numbers we need to focus on. What's your average gross commission? What's the broker piece of the commission? And what is your net commission? We're going to plug this in. So these are numbers that you need to know. So income averages. To produce your minimum required income, business must close this many deals. Minimum required income divided by average net commission. And to close that number of deals, there must be this many people in my database. So 10 times the number of deals. So to reach this number of people in the database after 1 year, how many COIs must be added monthly? Okay, so your SOI needed divided by 12. Why is this important? This is important to know. Give me an idea. How much should I be marketing? How am I going to set up my marketing data and spreadsheet? Do you set up a marketing plan for 18 months out? Do you set up a marketing budget plan for 12 months out? You need to know if you're sending out hard mail and if you're doing retargeted in digital campaigns, you need to know how many people you have to set that budget, right? How many people do you need? Because we want to sell to people who actually want to hear from us, right? It's way more effective than interrupting strangers who don't.
Mhm.
So let's talk about that. I know those numbers were heavy and you just want to skim right past it. I'm doing the wah, 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 wah number, wah, wah number. I totally get it. I'm that way too. So I'm begging you to go back in your worksheet to do those numbers after this webinar, okay? And we're going to help you with that, okay? So I want you to know your numbers because they're going to show you so much and help you budget so much for the upcoming year. So let's talk about what are proactive activities to put in your planning. Oh, the dreaded call. I gotta pick up the
Who wants to
phone.
make that?
Nobody wants to do this call. But here's what I love about this formula. I want you to keep this formula. This is a formula that I had printed out and on top of the notebook where I kept my numbers, okay? It's called the gratitude sandwich. So I am going to do an example for you. Number one, okay, I'm calling Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany, I just wanted to call and say thank you so much for inviting me onto this webinar. I really appreciate you sharing what we have to offer and getting us out there. So I was just wondering, do you have any cool plans in the next month or so with Christmas and New Year's? You got anything going on?
I have too much going on.
I understand, right? I totally get it. So you have so much going on, right? And so, you know, I do this real estate thing. And so I have a lot of vendors. Is there anything that maybe I could help you with on a referral? You've got this long to-do list and I have a lot of people I could refer to. Is there anything you might need a referral for?
If you know a great catering company, that would be awesome.
I really do. I really do. Matter of fact, I know two of them and they're in your area. So what I'm going to do is I will email you their name, number, and email, and I will put an introduction. I'll also copy them to the email and introduce you to them if you like, or would you rather me just email you their name and number? And she's coughing, so I'll say, she's like, no, don't put them on it. Just send me the name and number, right? Okay, so then I'm gonna ask, hey, Tiffany, you know what I do? I'm a coach, right? So, and I help everybody with all the foundational work. Do you have any agents that might be struggling right now that you think I might be able to help?
I sure do.
Okay, well, let me know. I'm gonna write it down, blah, 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 blah. And I'll reach out to them and see if there's something I can do to help. Okay, now, also, Tiffany, I have a really cool business building workshop planned for next month. And I would love for you to join us. It's totally free. It's gonna be January 16th and at 10 a.m. and I'll send you the details. But I really want you to feel comfortable joining us there. I think you'll get a lot of benefit out of it. And number 6, recap. So I know you're really busy the next month. And so I really appreciate you answering the phone and chatting. Please know if there is anything I can do for you, I'm here because I really appreciate you. So see how that gratitude sandwich, I was checking in on her. What is she doing in the next 30 days? Is there something I can help her with on her to-do list? Because we all have a lot of stuff we need to be getting done. And then I ask her for her business. I invite her to an event. Always have an event lined up, right? Client appreciation events. What do you have planned? And so invite. Everybody loves to be invited. They may not all show up because not everyone wants to show, but everyone wants to be invited. Then you recap what's going on for them in the next 30 and what's going on with you. And you say, thank you. Is that a hard call to make?
Mm-mm.
Tiffany's the only one listening to me at this point. I
No.
think Joe's shaking his head. No.
It gives you a reason to call, right, Dawn? And it sure
Gives you a reason to call.
Yeah.
So that's one of those, right? We've got to build deeper relationships by calling. So this is a call formula. It's not a script. I hate scripts. Obviously, you can tell I don't follow a script, right? So this is a really cool formula. Instead of, I don't know what to say when I call. Yeah, you do. It's right here. And then you can just simply phone a friend, right? I want you to make sure that you're making a list every day. Before you start your calls or your texts or your messages, make your list of who you're calling and reaching out to. You've got to be proactive here. Don't just pick up the phone and do, what do they call it when you just scan and call? What is it?
Calling rotisserie or calling
Yeah.
roulette.
Yes, calling roulette. That's right. Please don't do calling roulette. I want you to plan it, right? Because if you're scheduling it in your CRM, you know. Yes, Sarah.
Could we schedule this the night before? We could sign off for the day of who we're going to call tomorrow.
If you're really good at that, I'm the world's worst at saying, oh, last task done and running. But it's really good to plan for your next day. And
And
always.
you'll find you're so much more successful that way too.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you're in the car, use that time. So figure out who you're going to call. And when you're driving from place to place, use that time to make your calls.
Yes.
Even if it's just like a verbal note to yourself, a verbal note in your cell phone where you're talking to text and you've got that note for you to turn around and look at the next day. And
So
Dawn,
go ahead.
for those that maybe struggle to, get them to pick up the phone, right? Because I know we're all super busy. And so you might be leaving voicemails. Do you ever find that like a video text works well in
Absolutely.
those situations with that gratitude sandwich?
And video messages are really good in Facebook Messenger, because how many of you still have that crazy friend that has an Android? And so when you send them a video text, they get a little bitty box, right? So that's why I like to use Facebook Messenger. And so how many of you have a team where you have a buyer's agent, or you can't wait to have an agent on your team? Make sure that you're writing an SOP, standard operating procedure, for what you're doing. So when you grow, you can hand them, this is how I do it. So this is my SOP when I'm reaching out to someone. I make a list of who I'm calling or reaching out to. I look over their social media first, because I want to be able to say, oh my gosh, I just saw that little Tommy, you sent him off to college in December. So he graduated in December and you're sending him off in December. How is he doing intermingling in December, right? Like, is that hard? Because they know I have a 19-year-old too. How did that go, right? Then call them, right? Make notes in your CRM and then schedule out your next contact. You are not done and moving on to the next contact until you've scheduled them out for the next touch point. Okay, your turn, Sarah.
All right. So passive activities. What does that mean? What is passive? Who can tell me what that means if I say we're doing passive activities?
Cricket. Marketing.
Yes, that means we're trying to put stuff out there, right? Okay, so here are the 4 pillars of what we believe make good marketing. And I'll give you an example in a second. So pillar number 1, theme and offer. Pillar number 2, reach. Pillar number 3, frequency. And pillar number 4, modalities. Well, okay, in the real world, how does this really work? So theme and offer. So if I say flow, big red lips, big red headband, who am I talking about and what company would that be referring to? Who knows? You see her everywhere. Anybody?
The insurance guys.
I'm just sitting here.
Yay, that's right. She's with Progressive Insurance. And I'm, whoa, done.
There we go.
Okay. She got a little crazy on us.
I did.
You did. So Flow is with Progressive Insurance, and that's their theme, right? They have a theme, and what are they offering? They're offering homeowners insurance, bike insurance, motorcycle, boat, and the reach. They are reaching out to anybody who needs that product of insurance. And what about frequency? I don't think you can turn on your TV, you can open your mailbox, you can drive down the highway without seeing some sort of advertisement for Flow and Progressive. And that's across all the different modalities. Modalities are your internet, your print, your social media, anything that's getting it out there, because we never know where our consumers are going to be. So raise your hand if you have a plan to be in front of your SOI every 4 to 10 days next year. Anybody? Oh, Tiffany does.
Ooh, Tiffany does. Okay, cheater, she's already sat through our class.
I know. Okay, that sounds like a lot, right? Well, guess what? What kind of marketing are you doing to do that? Because stopping advertising to save money is like stopping your watch to save time. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys. With everything that's going on in the market, the way it's kind of made a little bit of an adjustment, and the social media and the news and everybody, now is absolutely not the time to pull back on your marketing. You have to be out there in front of your sphere of influence. They have to see you, because if they don't, if you pull back and they're not seeing you, what do they start thinking?
You got out of the business.
You got out of the business, right? And that's what they're going to start thinking. So right now, more than anything, you've got to double down on being in front of them. So here's our plan. So look at this picture here. You've got the founder and CEO, that's you, at the very top of this really big pyramid here. All these jobs underneath, all that internal staff, the operations, the bookkeeping, the marketing manager, the website vendor, videographer. Do you have all of those people in place to run your business? If not, we've got a solution for you.
So Sarah and I believe in giving away everything we know, right? Everything we do, everything we know. Just because, hello, we started as real estate agents just like you and spent years doing it. We give away everything we know. We get paid for our service, right? What we actually do. So Sarah and I work for a firm that completely takes care of the back end for agents with all the marketing and support. So we're going to show you our marketing secrets. These are the secrets. These are all the pieces that we do in just our marketing arm of our firm. Okay, are you ready? Because you're going to want to take notes. Here we go.
All right, so personal story. Have you had a personal story written about you? This is vulnerable. This really gets down to you personally, why you're in the business, so that everyone in your SOI gets to know you on a more personal level.
That hero's journey.
Yeah, and we have professional story writers on staff that sit with you and they create this for you. How about your resume, which shows your accolades and your achievements? This is super important. People need to know what you've done, even your previous life before real estate. They want to know that they're working with a professional and somebody who has achieved success in the business. So, what about email campaigns? How many of you have in your plan to be sending out text, video, or text emails once to twice a month to everybody in your SOI? Now, the purpose of these is not, I'm trying to sell you a house. The purpose is, what's going on? Here's what's happening in the market. I just need to make sure you're educated. Custom neighborhood alerts. Do you have one of these set up on every single person in your SOI? This is where you would go in and you would plot their specific neighborhood, so that every time a new listing or a new sale hits the market, they get a notification. I am telling you, we know that activity breeds activity. And typically when you see one house go on the market, all of a sudden you'll see 2 or 3 more. Well, think about if you could let your client know that what that seller's listed their house for or what it's sold for, that could breed that activity even faster. And we don't want them going to Zillow. We want them coming to you. All right, postcards. Now, we know that postcards are, I look at them and I throw them in the trash, right? But it's all about the consistency of staying in front of them. NAR has done research and they say that you have to send at least 13 postcards before the consumer will look at it and immediately know who it is without really having to read the details. So is that in your plan for next year? What about letters? Do you have letters that you've created that you have addressed directly to each person? You've signed them, you've sent them in an envelope that's hand addressed on the front. And these letters talk about, why am I sending you so much stuff? Maybe, do you know what your house is worth? Can we give you a market analysis? Here's what we can do to help you. These are all on letterhead, really high quality. What about targeted internet ads? This is absolutely my favorite because I think we probably spend more time on the internet today than we ever have in the past, right? There is nothing that you can't find out there. And so when consumers and your SOI are on ESPN, maybe they're on Pandora, maybe they're on Amazon, they're on their local news channel, they would see a banner ad from you. Dawn, can you go back?
Sure.
That banner ad in the corner where it's talking about Gavin Bree, they're going to see those everywhere. And when they click on it to finally figure out what the heck you're doing out there, because they're seeing you everywhere, they land on a landing page. And on this landing page will be a video that you've created.
I'm Gavin Bree. I provide services in the South Placer and surrounding Sacramento area.
Now, that video would be something that we help our partners create. We hire the videographer, we have the green screen, we have the scripts. And when somebody lands on your video, this is the coolest part. We then retarget them for 120 days. So now you're following them everywhere, even though you might not know who they are. Now, can you set that up? Absolutely, you can do that, but we do it for you. Also, you can take those videos and put them out on your social media. Maybe they're out on Instagram or on Facebook. And then what about hiring a spokesperson to speak on your behalf?
My name is Michelle. Thinking about buying or selling a home? Who you choose to be your agent is the most critical and important decision you will make in the entire process. An agent's skills, network, value, hustle, and experience can vary greatly. Who you hire should be based upon who is best for you only. No other criteria. There is literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, and it is a big deal. One person I believe you should absolutely have on your interview list is Gavin Bree. He is hardworking, experienced, tenacious, driven, and is absolutely committed to what is best for his clients. And speaking of clients, his clients love him and refer him again and again. If you are thinking about buying or selling, I suggest you call Gavin Bree for an interview. You are likely to be impressed.
Now, what that does is that absolutely helps where it's not you just talking about yourself, but somebody else is talking about you. So we believe in the big three: Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We know that's where the consumers are. So these are some examples of the branding pieces that are posted every single week. And that way they all have call to actions. They can get to your website, then that retargeting happens. It's just a whole snowball that's going on. Okay, handwritten notes, who does them, right? We should absolutely be doing them. Congratulations. Because people love handwritten notes. They just get bills in the mail anymore. So I'm telling you, people will keep your notes. But we also know that sometimes life gets a little busy and we might not be able to get to all of them. So we have a system that we can actually help you write your notes with a real pen, addressed to them, and they can still get sent to your clients. And then holiday cards. This is the time of year. I know I have had so many agents in the past that they're like, I've got to send out 500 holiday cards, and they're trying to write them and stamp them, and then they don't get them out on time. So why not let somebody do that for you? And we do that for all of our partners. wealth manager. Now, that is our job. As real estate agents, it is our job to make sure that our SOI knows exactly what their house is worth, how much equity they have. So this is a program that you can set up where every single month, everybody in your SOI will get a notification. It's going to include how much equity they have. It's going to include information about what the value currently is, how much they've paid off. My favorite part, if they put in maybe that if they want to pay $200 extra per month, it shows them how much faster they can pay off the mortgage and how much they will save over time. This is absolutely the information that you should be getting to your clients on a very regular basis. All right, internet synchronization. I was always amazed when I would go to look up an agent to recruit them when I owned or when I had my brokerage, that it's amazing how many different websites have that much different information. They're at one brokerage on one website, one phone number on another. So what we do is we make sure that you are the same across every single website on the internet. And a website for you that is built directly for you that actually has information on there about listings. It's IDX, so it pulls everything from your MLS. It also has a mobile-friendly map search for your clients. It has an About You page where you can house different videos and they can learn about you. But this website is also where we do that retargeting. All right, Dawn, I know you love this. This is one of my favorite things too. The all-in-one brochure. Now what this is a really high quality 100-pound cardstock glossy paper that has your story in it. It has your resume, what you offer for buyers and sellers, and your testimonials, and it talks about your team. Now I have partners that I coach that they actually order extras and they put them in their listing book and their buyer books. And that way they really have a high quality piece, which shows a seller, if you're going to spend that money on yourself, what are you going to do to represent their property? Sales booklet. We have to let people know what we're doing. And one of the best ways to do that is to create a booklet that's on high quality 100-pound cardstock that shows, hey, I'm out here working. I sell in all different areas. I work different price ranges. I just had a coaching partner yesterday say that she talked to a client the other day and they said to her, oh, well, we thought you only sold 500,000 and above. We didn't think you could help us. So she absolutely was like, we've got to get this out to let everybody know I work everywhere. Always a call to action on those two. You want to make sure you build that in. How about video? Who's doing video? Anybody? Okay. We know that video is huge. And only about 9% of agents across the entire US are doing video on a consistent high level. So this is where we step in and help out. We can help you put your videos together. We can help you get them loaded, edited, and we'll give you the ideas of what to do. So here are some ideas for you now, just some real basics that are easy to do. And the different platforms that you can put those, you can put them on social media, YouTube, website, all of those places. And we're doing video again. That's how much we like it.
Video is important.
It is. What about events? We know that events are a great way to get in front of all your clients, right? But the hardest part is getting all the pieces together, the marketing pieces, the social media, the follow-up, all of that. It is important because every event you should have multiple touches, the before, the right before, the during, and the after touches. So let us help you build that out. And that way you're not spending the time with a designer having to mess with it. So this is a lot. Would you agree that everything I just showed you is a ton of stuff to try to put together? Well, here's the cool thing. The company Dawn and I work for, Fusion, we actually do all of that. And the question is how? Well, because we've been in business for over 10 years. And in that time, we've really honed in on our very detailed systems and processes. We really know what it takes. Plus, the best part is we actually have all the employees. We have over 200 employees that help run all those systems and processes. And we've got the management that oversees all of that. So as the agent and the partner, all you have to do is provide your amazing service that you're already providing and let us handle all the rest.
You don't want to forget about listing marketing too, right? So what are you doing for your listings and your follow-up this year? So what's on your checklist? Compare it with ours. There's the printable property flyer, the update everything on Zillow. Then we've got to do the just listed cards and just listed posts. Then we got to boost it on Facebook, right? And we have the single property website. Every property needs a single property website so that you can make QR codes. We can put them on the postcards, send them out, put them on flyers. And then we want to create an email where we send it to the seller with all the links of where we're marketing their property online. Then at close, you got to do the just sold media and the just sold postcards. And then what if you continue to blow your clients away with follow-up? You send them moving kits with your branded moving boxes. Then you got to send a thank you letter. Don't forget to thank them for their listings. It's amazing how many don't get a thank you for sharing their business with you. And then what about a client feedback survey? Let me slow down a little bit here and explain this. We finish up a transaction and then we send them a link to do a 5-star review online, but it comes back as a 3-star review and now it's posted everywhere. And they're saying something that you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I said. They totally misunderstood me. Well, if we send this client survey feedback first, right? Then we get it back. And if there's anything on there that would suggest it's going to be less than a 5-star review, we reach out to our client and say, listen, you will want to talk to your clients because they understood this situation to be like this. Then you reach out to them, clarify it, and instigate the 5-star review because it's incredibly important. What about gifting? We all have to do those closing gifts, right? And so we run over to the store and create a basket instead of, spreading it out through the year. So what if you send a gift every month for the first 3 months? And then once the 3 months is up, we send a gift every 45 days. And they're personalized gifts. Keeps it pretty handy, keeps you in front of them, right? Then you have to make sure that you're managing your online reputation. Are you getting emails every time somebody puts one of your reviews online so that you can respond to them and thank you for that as well? It's really important to have your reviews monitored. Then don't forget about bookkeeping. When you're doing your bookkeeping, you as a CEO of your business should have each one of these reports. I know, it kind of stings. This one kind of stings because not too many of us are good about knowing our numbers and our financial situation. But we can't plan and go to another destination if we don't even know where we are right now. So do you have a good bookkeeper situated helping you with these reports? Okay, so again, we have all of the detailed systems and processes, the employees to run them, and the managers to oversee the systems and employees, because you're not a manager. You're running a business and you need to keep that business going, okay? So don't forget to take care of your personal work-life balance. You can't truly be considered successful in your business life if your home life is in shambles. So make sure that you are spending as much time planning your personal life as you do your business. Now, we were here for business planning, not life planning, or else that would be a whole nother fun webinar. So we just don't want you to forget to plan that great stuff as well. So as promised, Sarah and I have a gift for you, and there's no more important gift to us than our time. So you can scan this to schedule a free 30-minute Zoom coaching call with Sarah and I. It's what we do. We have all kinds of strategies and plans. So if there's something you're working on that you're like, I could use some feedback on this, or a little bit of direction on video, or a little help with my numbers, scan this and schedule your time to meet with us. Tiffany, thank you so much for having Sarah and I. We appreciate you so, so much. Now, is there anything else you'd like to add for the group, Tiffany?
I just want to thank you guys so much for coming in, for sharing this. And I love this free gift that you are offering these guys. That's wonderful. And I really, really want to encourage you guys to take advantage of this. You made the time to come here. It's an extra 30 minutes and it will be worth every last second of it. I promise you. So make sure that you take advantage of that.
Awesome. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for us? Nope. I see my friend Nancy is in the group. Hey, Nancy Evans. She just commented, hi.
Bye. Well, we hope everybody had some great takeaways. And like Dawn said, go back into your book, their booklet that we sent you. Really work in there, look your numbers out, dive deep into it, and even use that 30-minute call to have us go over it with you. If you had questions on it, we would love to review it with you through there. And that way, any way we can help you guys, that's absolutely what we thrive on, is helping others grow.
Yes. And for those that do their homework, for those that actually go through and do that book, I have a special gift for you. So be sure to send that to me so that I know that you put that time in. And really, guys, this isn't for us. This is for you. We're here to help you in your business. So we're just trying to encourage you. Kind of, we all need that accountability. Life is busy, especially at these holidays. It's so much fun, but 2023 is right around the corner. And I know how much our business means to all of us. So I'm right there with you guys, and I've been doing it. And I can tell you, even what I've already done, and it's not finished yet, but even what I've already done has made such a big impact, even for the now. So really take that time and take advantage of those opportunities.
Yay. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, guys.
Happy New Year.
See you later.